This is the day we have been given. Let us be glad in it. Welcome to Unity Church-Unitarian on this lovely summer Sunday morning. My name is Anna Newton. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm joined in the chancel by Lisa Burke and Alana Howey. The three of us are here representing Act for the Earth, Unity's community outreach ministry team. I would like to send a special shout out to Dana Mardock. She's out in the garden with the kids doing a special flower printing activity, and she's with them so I can be with you. It is good to be together this morning. If this is your first time at Unity Church Unitarian, you are welcome here. If you've been here for decades, you are welcome here. If you're joining us online, you are welcome here. We're so glad you're here. If you have come here seeking to be spiritually nourished, you are welcome here. Whoever you are, whatever brings you here, wherever you are heading, know that this place, your gifts and wounds are welcome. If you would like to learn more about this congregation, there are visitor cards on the back of the pews, and you just have to fill those out and put them in the offering basket when they come by later in the service. We hope that you find Unity Church to be a place that helps you find and keep your balance, and a community that inspires you to lead a loving life of integrity, service, and joy. Few announcements. After the service today, Finding Yourself at Unity, which is our conversation for visitors and all those interested in learning more about this congregation and Unitarian Universalism, will meet in the center room. The topic this week is Unitarian Universalist history. And if you haven't noticed all the tables in the parish hall, our upscale sale is happening this week. Donations are starting to roll in. The sale team is hard at work, and our goal is to raise $10,000 for the church operating budget. Please take time to support the success of the sale by donating items, shopping the sale, or volunteering. And they especially need help on July 31st, August 1st, and 2nd. The details are in This Week at Unity, which is the insert in your order of service. Now, take a moment to center yourself as we enter into the worship with the ringing of our bell.
These words from Rebecca Solnit, written after the 2024 election. Remember what you love. Remember what loves you. Remember in this tide of hate what love is. The pain you feel is because of what you love. There is no alternative to persevering, and that does not require you to feel good. You can keep walking, whether it's sunny or raining. Take care of yourself, and remember that taking care of something else is an important part of taking care of yourself, because you are interwoven with the 10 trillion things in this single garment of destiny that has been stained and torn, but it is still being woven and mended and washed. Join now in the lighting of our chalice with the words printed in your order of service. We light this chalice as a symbol of our faith, the light of truth and the warmth of love. And now if you'd stand for our opening hymn, number 163.
Each time we gather for worship, we set aside a moment to expand the caring ministry of this congregation. Together we recognize the cycle of life and death, the circle of love, compassion, and witness that is at the center of this and every sacred community. In our community today, we're delighted to celebrate George and Andrea Anastos' 40th wedding anniversary with them. And it is with deep gratitude for her life and her work, the Act for the Earth team marks the passing of 96-year-old Joanna Macy a week ago Saturday, creator of the Act of Hope framework and founder of the Work That Reconnects. Joanna Macy was a scholar, author, teacher, activist, and inspiration for thousands of people around the world, including many of us here at Unity. We will keep her work alive. We stand at the side of all those whose primary spiritual practice is caring for children, with those who live with grief and chronic pain, with illnesses seen and unseen, with mental illness or addiction. We pray for our neighbors in prison, those who care for family members in ill health, those who are struggling to stay afloat amidst poverty. Our lives are blessed by those who knowingly and with curiosity and courage face their final days, and by those who rise above heartbreak to carry on the work of ending oppression in all its forms. We celebrate with all who come through these doors with joy in their hearts, because this is a house of joy, and laughter is the sound of a thriving community. We pray for the leaders in the governments, places of worship, organizations, and businesses of the world, that they recognize our interconnectedness with each other and the natural world and lead us into the great turning to create a healthy and sustainable future for all. We now join together in praying for the joys and sorrows you bring this day. Please speak into this sacred silence the names of those you are holding this morning. For all these names, and for names not spoken aloud, but held deep in the heart, we hold you and keep you. As we enter into a moment of silence, I invite you to ground yourself in gratitude by finishing this sentence stem. A place that was wonderful to me as a child was.
And now, prayer for our earth from Pope Francis's 2015 encyclical. All-powerful God, you are present in the whole universe and in the smallest of our creatures. You embrace with your tenderness all that exists. Pour out upon us the power of your love, that we may protect life and beauty. Fill us with peace, that we may live as brothers and sisters, harming no one. O God of the poor, help us to rescue the abandoned and forgotten of this earth, so precious in your eyes. Bring healing to our lives, that we may protect the world and not prey on it, that we may sow beauty, not pollution and destruction. Touch the hearts of those who look only for gain at the expense of the poor and the earth. Teach us to discover the worth of each thing, to be filled with awe and contemplation, to recognize that we are profoundly united with every creature as we journey towards your infinite light. We thank you for being with us each day. Encourage us, we pray, in our struggle for justice, love, and peace.
Our movement extends beyond the walls of this church to partners with whom we share a common interest. Each week, the larger portion of our offering goes to these community partners. And this week, our offering supports MNIPL, which is Minnesota Interfaith Power and Light. They work in partnership with faith and spiritual communities to build transformative power and bring the lights of people's unique gifts to addressing the climate change crisis. MNIPL is a partner of ours, the Unity Act for the Earth team, and recently played a leadership role in sponsoring the Eco Fair on Summit, a 6-congregation event in which we participated. MNIPL has served the congregation as a source of authority regarding energy audits and energy improvements for homes and personal transportation. This collection will support education and statewide organizing. Will the ushers please come forward? We know that we lead lives of integrity, service, and joy. Generosity is sure to follow. Please give as generously as you are able.
shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we cry. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we cry. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love.
These words from the Hieroglyphic Stairway, a poem written 22 years ago by Dellinger. It's 3:23 in the morning, and I'm awake because my great-great-grandchildren won't let me sleep. My great-great-grandchildren asked me in dreams, what did you do while the planet was being plundered? What did you do when the earth was unraveling? Oh, excuse me. Surely you did something when the seasons started failing. As the mammals, reptiles, birds, and were all dying? Did you fill the streets with protest when democracy was stolen? What did you do once you knew?
Our Phoenix moment. In Harry Potter's world, phoenixes are large, rare, and powerful magical birds with glowing red and gold plumage, long tails, beaks and talons like an eagle. They can appear and disappear. Their song inspires courage in allies and fear in enemies. But the most remarkable phoenix characteristic is their ability to rejuvenate themselves in an event called a burning day. Periodically, they weaken and lose their feathers, but instead of dying, they burst into flames, and out of the ashes emerges a young chick, which quickly grows into a new adult. Like the phoenix, themes of destruction and rebirth echo around the world in sacred Hindu texts and Hawaiian cosmology. We see ancient trees nourish new forests as they return to the soil. We witness governments rise and fall. What does our fascination with the phoenix reveal about us? It speaks to our fear of loss, fear of pain, fear of the unknown, but also of hope. Perhaps we seek a rebirth of our own. Forests are burning. Wildfire smoke has forced our Summer in the Garden program inside twice already this summer. While the church's HVAC system will keep us safe, fire seasons are longer, hotter, and more destructive than before, no longer the regenerative force they once were. As the forests that constitute our ecological lungs burn, I watch the birds anxiously. How can their incredibly fine-tuned respiratory systems possibly cope? How many of them are dying unseen? We have no way to help them, nor the millions of people living without AC, without air filters. Yet, the most radical thing any of us can do is be fully present to what is happening in the world. Those are words from Joanna Macy again. My heart breaks for this world I love. Our modern age emerged from the ashes of World War II. It promised comfort and material abundance, but it is an extractive economy built on an assumption of cheap fuel, cheap resources, cheap labor. This has not worked out well for nature, nor for many of us, especially for folks near the beginning of supply chains. Dougal Hine, in his book, At Work in the Ruins, writes, "The sense that the future is broken isn't a mistake or a lack of vision. It is a gut-level read on where we are. And what is called for is not to reboot the project of modernity, but to see what can be salvaged from it and what deserves to be left behind." To the lament that the world is falling apart, Joanna Macy answered, "Yes, isn't it great?" She wasn't being cynical or unkind. She was a realist, and I imagine she expected that we are finally motivated to change. This is our Phoenix moment, when we give up the myth of self-sufficiency and acknowledge that we depend on each other. When we embrace the notion that we are part of nature and honor her gifts. When we redesign cities so that we can get groceries without a car. When we reimagine not just our personal behavior, but our economic systems. When we span divisions and reach out to neighbors and other faith communities to build a new world from the ashes. When we sow beauty, not pollution and destruction. Words from the Pope, former Pope. The change I envision is not deprivation. It is choosing to live regeneratively. As Dougal Hine concludes, the end of the world as we know it is not the end of the world, full stop. Together we will find hope beyond hope, the paths that lead to the unknown world that lies ahead. As the poet asked, "What did you do once you knew?"
We asked AFE members to reflect on Act for the Earth and share what it has meant for them, and this is what they said. "What keeps me up at night is the condition of our country, the world, and the planet that we are leaving to our children and grandchildren.
What keeps me up at night is the chaos and disregard for human and ecosystem health, people who refuse to take climate change seriously, the lack of compassion in our nation.
I take hope from my wonderful kids and their positive outlook on life, their willingness to do all that it takes to create a better tomorrow today.
I find so much beauty and love in the world. The natural world keeps on giving to us despite the damage we have done to it.
I'm with people who care about the well-being of the human and natural world. They are thinking, writing, and speaking about it.
I am inspired by my interactions with those who share the vision of a world where the interconnected web is held sacred.
The universe was screaming to me, so I finally listened and quelled the voice with determined action.
I left work in human health care and felt a strong need to focus on the health of the planet.
The group has taught me so much and showed me the way I want to live going forward.
We have learned from Indigenous people and connected with diverse people and organizations to work for Indigenous rights and climate justice.
We address our group's spiritual needs through our connections with Active Hope and other spiritual practices.
In retirement, I get to play outside like I did when I was 10 with support from the group to help save pollinators.
The love and centering helps me as I go out into the world.
I act for the sake of our children's future.
With my involvement on the team, I know that I'm doing my part to influence the world. No one person can solve the problems facing us, but if every person were to pitch in, we might have a chance.
A Norwegian friend follows American politics closely and emails me frequently from Oslo. He wrote the day after the election, "The voters in the US are in for a big shock. Have a good day. Best regards from Brian." I had to laugh. Nothing more needed to be said in that moment. Yes, Brian, the voters in the US have been receiving one big shock after another for the past 6 months. It's been infuriating, fear and anxiety-provoking, and heartbreaking. There are so many issues literally keeping us up at night. For me, it's the climate crisis, which intersects with all the others we could name. Our global community needs to come together as never before to protect our earthly home and our collective children's future. Mother Nature and UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres repeatedly, loudly, and with growing desperation implore us to pay attention to what's happening to the planet and to respond with urgency. As a grandmother, I hear these pleas, but business as usual continues to dominate, putting short-term gains above long-term social and planetary health and stability. Heather Heyer, the counter-protester killed during the 2017 Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, said, "If you aren't outraged, you aren't paying attention." But one can't be outraged all the time. That would be exhausting. And it would rob us of joy. And joy, after all, connects us to the world and grounds us in purpose. Joy is an act of resistance. Nor can we or should we tune out. How then are we to respond, caught as we are in the ongoing daily chaos of what the administration calls strategic uncertainty? I've been trying to turn to gratitude to ground myself. Gratitude for the people and communities in our lives, for engagement and new learning, for purposeful work, for the safety of home. Gratitude for the scientists, journalists, judges, comedians, and leaders who speak truth to power and courageously raise their voices on our behalf. Gratitude for this place, for unity where climate and economic justice are written into our end statements, and for my fellow travelers on our Act for the Earth team. Gratitude does indeed ground us and lessen our anxiety. It focuses our attention and encourages us to live in the moment, and it prepares us to take action. It is the starting point for active hope. Here at Unity, we host an open and welcoming monthly practice group based on the work of Joanna Macy and her book, Active Hope, How to Face the Mess We're In Without Going Crazy. In Joanna Macy's words, active hope is not wishful thinking or waiting to be rescued by some savior. Active hope is waking up to the beauty of life on whose behalf we can act. Waking up to the beauty of life on whose behalf we can act. We are alive, and we can act on behalf of each other and our children and the planet without guarantee of results, and despite the uncertainty about the effectiveness of our actions. This is active hope, a structured practice like yoga, something you do rather than something we have. In practicing, in doing, we strengthen our muscles of active hope and can apply the process to any challenging situation, turning outrage and grief into resilience and action. The image on the cover of your order of service is the spiral of active hope that guides the practice. It's always rooted in gratitude. Seeing and feeling profoundly grateful for what we love prepares us to move to the next step and face the pain we feel for what is happening in the world. Honoring our pain asks us to try to see reality clearly, even if it breaks our heart, or especially if it breaks our heart. Honoring our pain allows us to name and discharge our grief, to break through the cultural taboos that silence our distress. We are not neurotic or naive. We are, as Macy wrote, people whose love for this life is even greater than our fear. The pain you feel, Rebecca Solnit wrote after the election, is because of what you love. Exactly. By honoring our pain, something gets switched on inside us. Our survival response kicks in, and we start to see with new eyes, and with ancient eyes. We see the reality of our deep connectedness with all of life, to all living things and systems, for all time. We become connected to the holy and to the relationships we have lost with the natural world and with each other. Connected to the holy within, among, and beyond ourselves. Seeing this, we can then recognize our very real capacity to transform fear and despair into compassion, our very real capacity to take inspired collaborative steps towards the transition to a life-sustaining society, to what Macy calls the Great Turning. Finally, the practice asks us to determine steps we can actively take to move in that direction. Even if they're seemingly small, by taking these steps, we become active participants in transforming the world. My efforts plus yours have a synergistic effect. 1 + 1 = 2 and a bit more. Our collective efforts add up to real change and can move society towards the world we want to create for our future. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world, Margaret Mead famously said. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. And we go forth to take these steps, active participants in the transition. Our faith, our end statements, call on us to practice lifelong faith formation that breaks us open, allowing ourselves to be transformed. Joanna Macy wrote that the heart that breaks open can contain the whole universe.
You can all take a seat for a second, because not everyone knows this song, and we're all going to learn it together. So good morning. I'm Ahmed Ansaldua, Director of Music Ministries here at Unity Church, for those of you that don't know me. And this morning, we're adding a new song into our repertoire, which will probably be in the new Unitarian hymnal. So we'll be singing this one going forward. So I hope you're listening during the offering, because now it's your turn to sing it. So we're going to go by line, because not all of you know it. If you know it, please lead nice enthusiastically. So here's the first line. Ready, and?
We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires.
All right, ready? It's your turn. Here we go, and? I'm going to put on my choir director hat for a second. I'd like you to sit up straight. I'd like you to hold your programs up. I'd like you to not mumble the words. I'd like you to smile with your face and sing it as if you believe what you're singing, and like that. So here we go. Let's try it again. Ready? And?
We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires.
Much better. Here's the second line. Ready? Listen carefully.
We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth.
All right, you can sing that one. If you feel like singing harmony, go for it. But if not, just sing whatever comes out. Ready? And?
We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth.
Let's sing that again, and let's see if we can enunciate a little more clearly. Ready? And nice job. Okay, now the loud part. Ready? And all right, sing that. Ready? Nice and strong. And here's the last line. All right, let's go. It is time now. Ready, and all right, let's all stand and let's sing the whole thing maybe 3 times, okay? Okay, the first time you're gonna not feel very confident, but you're gonna try, right? You're gonna fake it. The second time be a little bit better, and the third time you're just gonna know the song. Ready, everyone together, and
We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now.
Thank you, everyone.
We end with these words from Joanna Macy. You don't need to do everything. Do what calls your heart. Effective action comes from love. It is unstoppable, and it is enough.